What's up, friends? This is Forensics with Alex, uploading my assignment for Inquiry in Math and Science Sci 1301 with Miss Vicky Harder. Hope you're listening to this podcast and you enjoy it. This is my submission for Forensic Science Podcast, Episode 2. Today, I'm going to be talking about assignment number 6, the eyewitness testimony assignment, where it consisted of two parts. The first part was just done by me, and the second part we had to ask other people to give us a description. But to start, I'll explain the first part. The first part consisted of watching a picture that the teacher uploaded for us to see and do the assignment with, and looking at it for 30 seconds. And after looking at it for 30 seconds, we had to answer a couple questions that she gave us, which were how many males and females were there, what was the first person of the line, because the picture had a line with a line of people. Like, I saw it like a bank, and they were waiting to get to get assisted, right? And yeah, we had to answer what was the first person wearing, how did they look, something that we saw that stood out to us, what was the date, what was and stuff like that, right? And I answered it, and it was hard to remember because I don't have the best memory, and I don't remember everything as I see it or as they tell it to me. When someone tells something to me, it comes from one ear and goes out the other. So it was pretty hard for me, or kind of, because I had recently saw it like 10 seconds after I was answering my questions. And I answered it, and it was almost like a discussion, I think. But yeah, I answered it. It was not difficult. It was fun, I guess, for my part. When I looked at it and was really focused at everything, I got to see that the date was the 15th, and that's what she asked for, and I was like, oh, let's go. I got it, right? And then the second part of the assignment, of assignment 6, was to gather two people or more. I just gathered two people, my girlfriend and her sister, and they had to see a picture that I couldn't see beforehand, right? They had to see a picture and look at it for 30 seconds again. But now, after looking at it for 30 seconds, I had to click out and draw what they explained it to me to be what was in the picture. And it was funny because they couldn't they didn't see everything that was in the picture, or they couldn't get like this was this and this was that. They saw different stuff, right? They saw different angles, and one person, my girlfriend, saw most of the details. She saw a cat scratching the table. She saw a car, because it was a family of four, two kids, one boy and one girl, and the wife and dad. And my girlfriend saw the dad had a toy car in his fork, where he was eating food from the table that they were in. She saw that, and it was a very small subtle detail. On the other hand, my girlfriend's sister saw more the expression of the family, and saw that in the middle also of the table there was chicken, like roasted chicken and stuff, and that the brother and sister were fighting, and she saw the expressions of the family more than my girlfriend. And there was this bear, they were fighting over that bear because someone said that sorry about that. My girlfriend said that the bear was not completely under the table, like half of it covering the table. No, not covering, but under the table. And my girlfriend's sister said that the bear was under the cat. And when I drew it, I think I did a good job. Not the best, right? Because I'm not the best artist, but I think I did a pretty good job. And with the assignment, I had to I had to upload a picture with my answers of the questions that she asked for. And I liked the assignment because now we could see that even though we saw the pictures recently, we couldn't we couldn't remember everything, every detail, every gesture, every detail of the pictures, right? And that's how most of the eyewitnesses that are in trials, and when they ask people of a crash where it just recently happened and they were behind those cars, it's more easier to remember with cars, right? But with people, when you see a person commit a crime and you see their face, but time passes after the crime, like an hour or even 30 minutes or 20 minutes, the people don't remember everything they saw, right? Every aspect of the person. What were they wearing? What color were they wearing? If they had a hat or not? If they had glasses or not? What color was their skin? Some people don't remember it that after recently seeing it, but after some days pass and the trial comes, they get like worried that they gave the wrong answers to what they saw, because they forgot and just wanted to say something because they were asking to them, when it would just be better to not answer, that they did to not answer what they saw or didn't saw. Because if in an eyewitness testimony in a trial, it can affect the people or persons. So me and my girlfriend and sister my girlfriend's sister concluded that um, we concluded that it is helpful if the person that saw the crime or whatever happened, like a crash or whatever, they remember everything exactly. But that is, most of the cases, that's not it. That's not how it goes with the person's mind, because a lot of things happen. And eyewitnesses' testimonies are not the best ones to solve a trial with, to solve a crime with, in most cases. Like, when I'm going to go over some recent news about eyewitness testimonies that don't go as as planned, and some that are helpful for the trial, that that most they are, they should be convicted, even though that it might not be the same, but like what the eyewitness testimony is giving to the answers of the trial is what's correct. Like in this case of this recent news, the title reads, "Prosecution Rests in Oxford Shooter Hearing. Defense witnesses says he heard voices." In this case, an Oxford high school student named Ethan Crumbley shot his school. He was an active shooter in his school, and in this trial, the assistant principal, Ms. Gibson Marshall, was giving a testimony. It was the last testimony of the trial, that she was trying to save a student that Crumbley shot at school, and she said that she was trying to save him. Took off his backpack to give him life-saving breaths, and well, yeah, telling her story about how she was trying to save a kid when Crumbley shot him. And this was going on, and some witnesses went before her. She was the last one, as I said. This happened on November 30th, 2021. It was, well, tragic, right? But this just tells that many witnesses saw what happened, and even after time, because it was in 2020, 2021, and we're now in 2023, and they remember that day vividly, what they were doing, every single detail, which is shocking because that's the trauma that they had to endure to try and save a kid, or when they saw a friend got shot. Um, and for them to remember those details, those small, very subtle details, is very, uh, very good. Is not the word I was looking for, but my language is not the best, as you can tell. But it's impressive that they remembered everything about that day and are trying to get Crumbly to get what he deserves for shooting the school. In another news, it is about a police. No, this one is about a what's happening in Hawaii from the fires. The title is "Harrowing Eyewitnesses Accounts Cast Doubt on Official Lahaina Fire Narrative." This is about this topic is about a resident, Amanda Cassidy, that she's telling about how police were moving the cars that were trying to flee the city, or the part of the city that they were in where the fire was very bad, that they were trying to take Route 30 and Lahaina bypass. They were trying to go in the main streets to just get out of there quickly and efficiently. But the police, they weren't letting them pass by, because they said that in that road, the lights were the electricity lights. They were a danger for the people there, and they cut off either every street, every line of the street, or just left one open where they could let pass little by little the people, but that wasn't effective at all. And Amanda Cassidy was in the car with her brother and her boyfriend, and they weren't letting them pass, so they had to go over to other small streets of Hawaii, but the fire was catching up to them and they were getting endangered. They were worried, so now they are like, this is all a conspiracy against us, or against Hawaii itself, or something bigger is happening here. And there's been stories more about that this is just a conspiracy, but I'm not gonna go into that detail. And that's what they're saying, that the police were deriving people from the main streets to go to other less efficient streets for them to not die, but just I don't know, but yeah, that's what one other eyewitness testimony that was that I got to read for. And this one was intriguing because now we're talking about conspiracies more, and we're seeing that eyewitness testimonies or eyewitnesses in Hawaii are thinking that this is also a conspiracy, and this is something more than just a fire or a natural fire. And thirdly, this is uh, another news about a the title reads, Black man was not threat to Tacoma police, charging his restrained death. Eyewitnesses at trial. So this trial has been going for since, I'm not sure, since 2020, but this happened in 2020. It says, this is the first line of the news. Eyewitness testimony Tuesday in the continuing trial of 3 police officers who are white and Asian American, charged with the 2020 death of Manuel Ellis, a black man, starkly contradicted the picture the officers' lawyers printed. So this is telling about Keon Lowry. This is the man that is the eyewitness. That he's telling the jury in Pierce County Superior Court that Ellis didn't act aggressively toward the Tacoma, Washington police officers, nor did he fight back, and that he was not a threat at all, none. So, Pian Lowry, the eyewitness, is saying that the police officers from Tacoma, Washington, were not treating Manuel Ellis with corresponding to his actions. They weren't treating him respectfully as he was treating them, or not as a threat. And he's saying that he was in disbelief with how the officers acted in reaction to Ellis' actions, since he wasn't doing nothing. He wasn't a threat to them. This was on March 3rd, and he's saying that from another video that another eyewitness was that another eyewitness recorded. It was very, you could see what was happening, and that Ellis wasn't not even striking back or struggling with them. He was just saying that he was struggling to breathe and struggling to move, and he wasn't comfortable in the position that the police had him. So the witnesses are trying to convict or make the jurors convict the police because they think they're in the wrong on what they did. And this last recent news that I found is titled, "How Faulty Eyewitnesses' Testimony Can Lead to Wrongful Convictions." This news is about a man named Royal Clark Jr., who was charged and convicted of an armed robbery at Burger King in November 2001 in Tarrytown, Louisiana. He was charged and convicted by a witness that thought he saw him in the Burger King, in robbing the Burger King, right? But the police asked questions to three people that were there, to three witnesses who said they saw him, but they didn't know, they weren't sure, right? And in the trial, two of them went back, and two of them went back on their word, and they ended up not going against him and just got out of the trial. But one of them said that he was sure that it was Royal Clark Jr. who was the one that robbed the Burger King. But later, 17 years later, Innocence Project New Orleans took his case, and attorney Kia Hayes hoped for DNA testing of that cup, but investigator never collected it. So there was this cup, right, or the Burger King maybe, that this assailant took a sip from it and was drinking from the cup and had fingerprints, but the police couldn't take those fingerprints because they were unclear or unusable to trace it to someone, they said. But the assailant that actually robbed the Burger King was drinking from that cup, and now the Innocence Project New Orleans attorney was looking for that DNA test, but they never took it. So now she was asking for it at court, and to hope to clear Royal Clark Jr.'s name and get him out of jail after 17 years. And he had to go to the judge and with the district attorney of the other side, Paul Connix, to see if they could search for the DNA test in the cup they still had, right? And they did, and the DNA didn't correspond to Royal Clark Jr. It wasn't him. So the 19-year-old who testified against him didn't see him clearly, or saw him, or just saw him somewhere else and looked familiar, or he just looked familiar. So he said, yes, this man is the one that robbed and assaulted and all that, right? But the DNA wasn't of him. So that is just another eyewitness who who thinks his word is correct and think he's doing the right thing, but he actually didn't see him, and he put a man in jail because he thought he saw him, but it was never him. Yeah, later they caught the other guy, but this man already passed 17 years in prison and didn't get to see his kid grow, his his recently born kid grow. And yes, there's that chance that the DNA couldn't come back, or the DNA wasn't gonna be another man. It was his, but it wasn't Royce Clark Jr. So he was in prison for a witness that said he saw him, but he was never there. So just imagine the pain, the brooding thoughts that he thought in jail for 17 years for something that he didn't do. Oh, that should be, to me, that's unthinkable. And that is my famous crime to end this video. I hope you enjoyed it, Miss Vicky Harder. This was Alejandro Tarin for Forensic Science Podcast, Episode 2, Inquiry in Math and Science, Sci 1301. And this is my hope you give me a good grade. Hope you liked it. And I enjoyed this. Very excited to do more in the future.